navigating today's financial markets, it feels like everyone's looking for those clear signals, right? Trying to figure out what's really moving the needle.
Absolutely. It's complex out there.
Well, here's something that definitely caught our eye. Hidden Road Partners CIV US LLC just got the green light from FINRA.
That's right. And getting FINRA approval, well, that's a pretty big deal. It means they've passed muster with the main self-regulatory body for broker-dealers here in the U.S.
Okay, so it's not just paperwork. It's a real validation.
Exactly. It basically allows them to operate officially as a regulated broker-dealer.
So let's back up a sec. For anyone not completely up to speed, who is Hidden Road in this equation, and what have they really achieved here?
Sure. So Hidden Road acts as a prime broker. They provide, essential services mainly for institutional clients. What they've achieved is that their specific subsidiary, Hidden Road Partners CIV US LLC, is now officially a FINRA member broker-dealer.
Got it. And that specific designation, that's the key.
That's the key. It opens the door for them to conduct a whole range of regulated activities.
Okay, so what doors does it open? What new things can Hidden Road actually do now?
Well, this lets them seriously expand the services they offer, particularly around fixed income assets. We're talking to both their existing clients and potentially new ones.
Fixed income.
Yeah. So now they can offer regulatory compliant prime brokerage, clearing services, and financing, all specifically within the fixed income market.
And I get the sense this isn't just happening out of the blue, is it? It feels like it fits with other things they've been doing recently.
You're spot on. This approval, it really builds directly on their recent efforts to expand their fixed income prime brokerage platform.
Like that deal they did with Trading Technologies.
Exactly. Back in June 2024, they partnered with TT. That deal was about distributing TT's multi-asset trading platform to Hidden Road's clients. So it was a pretty clear signal they were aiming for broader capabilities.
Right, laying the groundwork. So before this FINRA approval, what did their fixed income platform actually cover?
It wasn't starting from scratch. They were already active, especially in things like fixed income repo, repurchase agreements, which are vital for short-term borrowing in those markets, and also global funding services.
Okay.
So this FINRA membership is a really substantial upgrade, letting them offer a much more complete set of regulated services there.
Now, this is interesting. We actually have some words directly from Hidden Road on this. Noel Kimmel, their president, called this registration a significant step.
Yeah, he emphasized it was a significant step for their fixed income platform specifically. And he also mentioned how it bolsters their capabilities in traditional financial markets.
That phrase, traditional financial market, seems key there.
It is. And what also stood out, I thought, was his focus on bringing their best-in-class technology-driven fixed income service offering to more institutions.
So leaning into their tech advantage.
Right. It shows they're confident in their platform and ready to push deeper into the traditional space, now with that regulatory backing.
He also mentioned their tremendous momentum and commitment to top-tier execution and support, especially given how exceptionally dynamic the market is right now. Sounds like they see this as a launch pad.
It definitely sounds that way. And, this move into traditional finance via FINRA gets even more interesting when you layer on that other huge piece of news from early April.
Yes, the Ripple acquisition. That certainly made waves. Ripple, the digital asset infrastructure company, buying Hidden Road for, what was it, $1.25 billion?
That's the number, $1.25 billion. Just the size of the deal makes it one of the biggest M&A stories in the digital asset world.
And the implication is massive.
It really is.
Yeah.
Because the result is that Ripple is set to become the first crypto-focused business to actually own a global multi-asset prime broker.
Yeah.
That's completely new territory.
Wow. So this FINRA approval lands just as this massive Ripple deal is presumably moving towards closing. It feels like a critical piece falling into place.
It does seem like very strategic timing, doesn't it?
So what happens next once the Ripple deal is finalized?
Well, the expectation is it'll close in the next few months, assuming all the final regulatory hurdles are cleared, of course.
Standard procedure.
Right. And the plan, as it's been described, is for Hidden Road to shift its post-trade activities onto XRPL.
That's Ripple's ledger tech.
Exactly. Ripple's own ledger technology. The idea is to leverage its transparency and efficiency for those post-trade processes.
And will Ripple bring its own services into the mix for Hidden Road clients?
That seems to be the plan. Ripple is expected to start offering things like custody services, secure storage for digital assets, and also plug in Ripple Payments, which is their cross-border payment solution, making that available to Hidden Road's institutional clients.
Okay, so let's pull back a bit. We've got FINRA approval, fixed income expansion, a massive acquisition by a crypto player, integration plans. Why should our listeners, really tune into this? What's the bigger takeaway?
That's the crucial question, isn't it? Why does this matter beyond just Hidden Road and Ripple? Well, first off, I think it's a really clear indicator of how traditional finance and digital assets are converging faster and faster.
The lines are definitely blurring.
They really are. Those old walls between TradFi and crypto, they're becoming much more permeable.
Yeah.
Secondly, it shows how regulators are, maybe slowly sometimes, but definitely adapting.
Adapting to these new kinds of players and technologies.
Exactly. FINRA, giving the nod here, suggests they're willing to engage with firms that bridge both worlds, traditional and digital.
And if you're actually in the institutional finance space, working at a fund or a bank,
For those folks, this could mean new options, potentially more integrated services that cover both fixed income and digital assets from a single provider. Think about the potential efficiencies there.
right, streamlining things.
Potentially, yeah. And new strategic possibilities, too.
And for the rest of us, just trying to keep tabs on where finance is heading.
For anyone just curious about the future of finance, this is really a textbook example of how innovation and, frankly, huge amounts of investment are reshaping the underlying infrastructure of the markets. It's a real glimpse into what's coming.
Okay, so wrapping this up, Hidden Road gets FINRA approval, big win for their fixed income plans. Then you layer on the upcoming Ripple acquisition. It feels like more than just two companies growing. It feels like a real bridge being built.
I think that's a great way to put it. A
What?
bridge between established TradFi and the, still very dynamic world of digital assets. It signals an evolution in multi-asset financial services.
And the regulatory landscape is evolving alongside it.
It has to, really.
So maybe here's something to chew on after we finish. How might this blending, this tighter integration of traditional finance infrastructure with digital asset tech, how might that ultimately change the kinds of services available? Not just for the big institutions, but maybe eventually filtering down.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Or maybe the billion-dollar question in this case.
Yeah. Think about it. A major crypto player owning a fully regulated multi-asset prime broker. What does that unlock down the road? It's definitely a space to watch.
Absolutely. The potential implications are far-reaching. We'll certainly be keeping an eye on it.